I cheated and belittled him for 2 years, thought he'd keep taking it. Until he blocked me, vanished, and exposed everything to my family from another country. For 2 years, I had a boyfriend who built his construction company from nothing into a multi-million-dollar operation. While I was still in residency complaining about my hours, he was landing government contracts and employing over 200 people. But I couldn't see past my own ego. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I was a effing monster to him. It started small. Little comments about how cute it was that he tried to understand my medical conversations. Eye rolls when he'd talk about concrete specifications or building codes at dinner parties with my doctor friends. I'd introduce him as just a construction worker and watch him force a smile while my colleagues looked down their noses. Then it escalated. I started sleeping with other doctors. First, it was an anesthesiologist at a medical conference. Then a surgeon in my department. I didn't even try to hide it well, I wanted him to know. I wanted him to feel beneath me, like he should be grateful I even kept him around. The gaslighting was an art form. When he'd confront me about staying out all night, I'd turn it around. I'm saving lives while you play with concrete. Do you really think I'd risk my career for someone else? You're being paranoid. When he found messages, I'd cry and blame the stress of residency, promise to do better, then F someone else the next week. The worst part? He never once raised his voice. Never called me names. He'd just look at me with these eyes that were slowly losing their light, and somehow that made me crueler. I wanted a reaction. I wanted him to prove he was the lesser man I kept telling myself he was. I remember one night at a charity gala my hospital threw. He showed up in a $5,000 suit looking incredible, and several of my female colleagues were whispering about who he was. When he put his arm around me and said he was my boyfriend, I actually laughed and said, "He's my little builder boy. Isn't it sweet how he cleans up?" The room went quiet. He just squeezed my shoulder gently and changed the subject to ask my chief of surgery about his renovation needs. By the end of the night, he'd landed a $2 million contract for the hospital's new wing. Still, I diminished him. The breaking point came last December. I told him I was attending a medical symposium in Sydney for the weekend. Really, I was at a resort in Gold Coast with the head of cardiology. But here's where I effed up. I posted an Instagram story from the hotel spa. Just my legs and a glass of champagne, but the resort's logo was visible. When I came home Sunday night, the house felt different. Too quiet. His office door was open. Usually, he kept it locked because of sensitive contracts. His monitors were gone. I ran to our bedroom. His side of the closet was empty. The bathroom, his things vanished. No note. No text. Nothing. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. Text didn't deliver. WhatsApp showed he'd blocked me. Email bounced back. Even effing LinkedIn, blocked. I actually laughed. I remember standing in our bedroom, his bedroom, really, he bought the house, and laughing at his dramatic exit. He'll be back, I told myself. They always came back. I'd cry, maybe give him a blowjob, promise therapy, and we'd move on like always. Monday morning, I posted a photo with a cardiologist. Sometimes upgrades happen, I captioned it. My friends hearted it and commented fire emojis. I felt victorious. 2 weeks passed. Nothing. I drove by his company's headquarters, his car wasn't there. His assistant said he was traveling for business indefinitely. I started to feel the first prickle of worry, but pushed it down. He was probably sulking at his brother's place in Melbourne. Then January 15th happened. I was at my parents' house for our monthly family dinner. My mother was going on about some cousin's wedding when my father's phone pinged. Then pinged again. And again. Jesus Christ, he muttered, pulling it out. His face went from annoyed to confused too. Pale. Actually pale. What is it? My mother asked. He didn't answer. He just stared at his phone, then slowly looked up at me. Care to explain this? He turned the phone around. It was an email from an anonymous address with the subject line, "Your daughter's true character." Attached were screenshots, audio files, videos. The first screenshot was a WhatsApp conversation where I called my father effing dinosaur who thinks manual labor is noble and said my mother peaked at housewife and can't understand ambition. The audio file was worse. It was from last year's Father's Day dinner. I'd snuck outside to call the anesthesiologist, not knowing my boyfriend's dash cam was recording through the open garage. My voice, clear as day, I'm at my parents playing Happy Family. My dad's going on about his military service again like anyone gives a F yeah, the same story about honor and integrity. Meanwhile, He's too stupid to realize his precious daughter is getting railed by half the hospital. My mother gasped. Actually gasped. But the video. The video was the KL shot. It was security footage from his company's parking garage. Me, getting out of the cardiologist's car at 2 a.m., my dress hiked up, adjusting my panties. The timestamp showed it was the night of my boyfriend's company's 10th anniversary party, the one I'd said I was too sick to attend. Get out, my father said quietly. Dad, I can explain. Get out of my house. I'd never heard him yell like that. Not once in 29 years. I drove home in a daze. When I arrived, more emails were waiting. He'd sent packages too. My department head. The medical board. My colleagues. My extended family. Mutual friends. Even my ex-boyfriends from med school. Each package was customized. The medical board got screenshots where I'd admitted to writing prescriptions for friends without proper consultations. My department head received audio of me calling her a menopausal CNT who got lucky. My religious aunt got videos of me mocking her faith. The precision was surgical. He'd spent months collecting evidence, organizing it, waiting for the perfect moment. This wasn't revenge, it was complete and total annihilation. By morning, I was suspended pending investigation. The cardiologist wouldn't return my calls. My family group chat removed me. My best friend since kindergarten texted a simple "I can't believe you said those things about my miscarriage" and blocked me. That's when I finally tried to find him properly. I hired a effing private investigator with my rapidly dwindling savings. 2 weeks later, the report came back, he'd moved to Dubai. Sold his shares in the Australian company to his business partner and taken a role as senior director for a massive infrastructure firm. The project he was overseeing? A $500 million sustainable city development. His Instagram was public. I created a fake account just to look. There he was, tailored suits, helicopter rides to sites, dinners with sheiks and ministers. And her. She was everything I wasn't. An architect from London. Brilliant, accomplished, and in every photo with him, she looked at him like he hung the moon. No contempt. No superiority. Just love. The comments were full of his Australian employees wishing him well, saying he deserved happiness after everything he went through. One comment stopped me cold. "So glad you found someone who sees your worth, boss. We all knew you deserved better than what you had." They all knew. Everyone knew what I was doing, and he never said a word against me. Never played the victim. Just quietly built his exit strategy while I thought I was untouchable. Update 1, posted 3 months later. The medical board hearing was yesterday. I won't go into details, but my license is suspended for 12 months minimum. The prescriptions I wrote for friends without proper documentation were just the tip. Turns out, coming to work after those late nights with my side pieces sometimes meant I wasn't exactly sober. I never hurt anyone, thank God, but the board doesn't care about almosts. I'm working at a pharmacy now. Retail. The owner knows my story, everyone in Brisbane medical circles does, but he needed help and I needed work. I scan items and restock shelves while watching actual pharmacists do the job I trained for. Last week, a construction worker came in for painkillers. Hard hat, high-vis vest, the whole deal. He recognized me. "Holy SHT, aren't you? You were with the boss, right? Man, we all miss him at the company. Best boss I ever had. Heard he's clinging in Dubai though. Good for him." I just nodded and rang up his purchase. "That new lady of his, the architect, she's something else, right? Saw the engagement photos on his LinkedIn. Massive rock. But he always did everything properly." Engagement. They were engaged. I went to the bathroom and threw up. Then I went back to my register because I needed this job. My parents still won't speak to me. My father sent one text a month after that dinner: "You're not the daughter I raised. Don't contact us until you become someone worth knowing again." My mother didn't send anything. Update 2, posted 6 months later. I've been in therapy. Proper therapy, not the performative kind I'd promised before. My therapist made me write down every cruel thing I did to him. It took 3 sessions just to get through the list. Did you know emotional abuse can be as damaging as physical abuse? I didn't. Or I did but didn't care. Every time I belittled his work, every time I called him stupid, every time I flaunted my affairs, I was destroying a piece of him. And he just took it. Because he loved me. The therapist asked why I did it. The real answer is uglier than just ego. I was terrified. He was brilliant, successful, kind, and gorgeous. Everyone who met him loved him. Deep down, I knew he was out of my league, so I tried to convince him he was beneath me before he could realize he was above me. I found out more about his exit through mutual acquaintances. He'd been planning it for 6 months. While I was effing around, he was documenting everything with the help of a lawyer, quietly transferring his assets, setting up the Dubai position, preparing his Australian company for his departure, even seeing a therapist to make sure he wasn't doing this from a place of cruelty. The therapist apparently told him that protecting himself and ensuring consequences for abuse wasn't revenge, it was justice. He took that to heart. The evidence packages? He hired a professional to organize and send them. He never touched them after the initial handover. By the time they were delivered, he was 10,000 miles away starting his new life. I saw his wedding photos last month. A friend of a friend still follows him and posted about attending. It was in Dubai, overlooking the water. 400 guests. His Australian employees flew out. His family was there, the same family I'd called bogan trash was celebrating in a 7-star hotel. His wife, that word hurts, wore a custom dress that probably cost more than I make in 6 months. But it wasn't the luxury that got me. It was his face. In 2 years with me, I'd never seen him smile like that. Pure, unguarded joy. In one photo, she's adjusting his bow tie and he's looking at her like she's his whole world. The caption from the friend, "These two restore my faith in love." When you know someone's worth, you cherish them. I drank myself to sleep that night. Woke up, went to therapy, and admitted the truth. I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me because I was too insecure to believe I deserved him. Update 3, posted 8 months later. I'm writing this from rural Queensland. After my suspension ended, no hospital in Brisbane would touch me. Perth was the same. I finally found a position at a small clinic in a mining town. It's not what I dreamed of, but it's medicine. The universe has a sense of humor though. The biggest employer in town? A construction company that partners with his old firm. His name is on safety certificates all over the site. The workers speak about him like he's a legend, the boss who actually gave a SHT, who knew everyone's names, who made sure they got home safe. One of the guys, not knowing who I was, told me a story about how my ex paid for his kid's cancer treatment out of pocket when insurance was being difficult. Didn't want anyone knowing, but we all knew. That's just who he was, you know? Heart of gold. Heart of gold. And I fed it to the dogs. I live alone now. 1-bedroom unit, basic furniture, no social life. My colleagues are polite but distant, small towns talk, and everyone knows why I'm here. I work, go home, eat, sleep, repeat. Weekends, I volunteer at the local indigenous health clinic trying to rebuild some karma. My brother reached out last month. First contact from family in almost a year. He's getting married and made it clear I'm not invited, but he wanted me to know so I wouldn't hear it from others. He also told me our parents are in therapy trying to process how they failed so badly in raising me. I told him they didn't fail. I failed myself. Final update, posted 1 year later. This will be my last update. I need to close this chapter, and you've all been, well, witnesses to my self-destruction and maybe, hopefully, my growth. I'm still in rural Queensland. Still at the clinic. I've been promoted to senior physician. Turns out when you have nothing but work, you get pretty good at your job. I'm not saving for anything special, so most of my money goes to charity now. Specifically, to organizations that help abuse victims. Seems fitting. Last week, I was in Brisbane for a medical conference, my first time back in the city. I was walking near the river when I saw them. He was there with his wife and a baby. Maybe 4 months old. He was holding the kid while she took photos of the city skyline. The baby was grabbing at his face and he was making these ridiculous noises that had the little one giggling. I froze. I could have walked away. Should have. But I stood there like an idiot, watching the family I could have had. His wife noticed me first. I saw the recognition, the slight stiffening. She said something to him. He looked up, straight at me. No anger. No hatred. Just nothing. Like I was a stranger on the street. Which I guess I am now. He said something to his wife, kissed the baby's head, and they walked away. No confrontation. No drama. Just a man protecting his family from someone who'd proven themselves harmful. That nothing in his eyes? That was worse than hatred. I was literally nothing to him now. A cautionary tale maybe, but not worth a second of his present. I went back to my hotel and cried. Not the manipulative tears I used to use as weapons, but real, ugly, snot-filled crying for the life I threw away. For the man who loved me completely and whom I tortured for sport. For the children we might have had. For the family dinners where I'd be welcome. For the simple pleasure of waking up next to someone who chose me every day despite having every reason not to. My therapist says I need to forgive myself eventually. I'm not there yet. Maybe I never will be. But I'm trying to be better. To be someone who deserves love, even if I never find it again. To those who called me a narcissist, a sociopath, a monster, you weren't wrong. I was all those things. Maybe I still am. But I'm trying. To those who said he should have left sooner, you're right. I'm glad he finally did. To those who shared their own stories of abuse, I'm sorry. I'm so effing sorry. You deserved better. Everyone deserves better than what I was. And to him, though I know he'll never read this, thank you. For loving me when I was unlovable. For leaving when staying was cling you. For showing me consequences exist. For building your happiness on your own terms. For being the man I said you weren't. I hope your daughter, I could tell it was a girl by the pink outfit, gets your kindness. I hope she grows up knowing her worth because her father will show her every day. I hope your wife continues to look at you like you're a miracle, because you are. I hope you never think of me at all. I'm logging off now. This account, this chapter, this version of me, it all ends here. Tomorrow I'll wake up in rural Queensland and keep trying to be better. It's all I can do. It's all any of us can do. Edit, to those asking if this is real, I wish it wasn't. But it is. Every word. Every cruel action. Every consequence. Learn from my mistakes. Please. Edit 2, I'm seeing a lot of comments about hoping I find love again. I appreciate the kindness, but that's not the point. This isn't about me finding someone new. It's about becoming someone worthy of love in the first place. That's the work I need to do. Edit 3, for those saying he went too far with the evidence, no, he didn't. He protected himself in the only way that would stick. Words wouldn't have worked. Tears wouldn't have mattered. Only consequences got through my thick skull. He knew me better than I knew myself. Final edit, turning off notifications now. Thank you for listening. Be better than I was. It's not that hard. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.